do it.
And we're back.
Oh.
I wish you caught that.
I think I did.
Oh, good.
Ah!
Damn it!
Take that, Luka.
No!
No, you're
So-
talking over the intro.
Except that wasn't the intro, but...
It wasn't true.
Fuck you. Close enough.
So, as you guys arrive in the town square of Helmsward, your presence seems to cause like a little bit of a stir. A lot of people sort of like look up and take you in as you come past because you're, as always, you guys kind of stand out in most of the crowd. You're blue. Everyone else is wearing armor. One has a giant wolf.
Yep.
But yes. So a town guard, sort of clad in the blue regalia and sort of wearing a breastplate emblazoned with the same sigil that you saw on the banner that the herald was carrying. Sort of steps up to you and says, "Good day, folks. Forgive my intrusion, but you wouldn't happen to be mercenaries, would you?"
Well, that's why we're here.
I had my suspicions. If you wouldn't mind, and he sort of like points up the hill a ways, up towards the castle. He says, "If you wouldn't mind taking a trip up to the guardhouse at the base of the castle, I think you'll find the people you're looking for up there."
Very well. Thank you for your assistance. Or, well, help, I guess.
Not a problem. If there's anything else I can do for you, please let me know.
Sure. I think that's it for now.
Please.
Or does anybody else need anything?
I'm good. Let's just go.
As you were. You can quite clearly make out that yes, just below the walls of their castle, there does appear to be a smaller fort that's maybe like a handful of buildings built into the side of the hill. That appears to be the guardhouse he was talking about. Do you head straight there, or?
I guess so.
So
Might
why
as
not?
well.
Yeah.
Okay. So you ride up the hill, and sort of as you go, you can sort of like look over your shoulders and see the rest of Helm's Blessing, and the city is it kind of based on the hill in the center. It sort of rolls down a little to the flatter lands surrounding the city, and off to the eastern side there is the huge central lake that basically like the city basically has like a dock and jetties built out onto the side of this lake, and it's very difficult to make out, but you can sort of like shielding your eyes against the glare from the sun on the lake surface, you can just about make out the other side of the lake. That's how big in terms of scale this lake is. But yeah, you make it up the cliffside to the small fort-like structure, where a number more guards sort of like walking around in the courtyard, going to and from various things. and another similarly dressed man, but this time with like a full Crusaders style helmet, is standing in the courtyard as you arrive, and comes over to you and says, "Oh, travellers."
Robots. We are looking for the brief. Well, we're looking to be briefed for the king's assignment or request.
He sort of nods and says, "Hi, you're the first mercenaries to show up for a while. Most of them have already been briefed and gone out, but no luck so far. I suppose I can make some arrangements. I think we've got another group of mercenaries who rolled in maybe a couple of days ago that are waiting to be caught up on things. So I guess we can do the two of you together."
Very well.
Yeah, if you don't mind just hanging around here for a little while, I'll go and make some arrangements. I think the Helmsward would like to speak to you himself.
Where would we? Shall we meet with them now, or?
We'll take you there, and it probably won't take more than a couple of minutes to get my hands on these guys.
Okay then. That will be fine.
He signals to two nearby guardsmen and sort of gives them a message, and they disappear off. He sort of says, forgive my asking, but I don't recognize your colors."
Well, with the Dander Eagle, we admittedly have not really gotten set up in that regard yet. We started off. Well, I set this up like quite some time ago, but it isn't until recently that we've finally been able to build an establishment and actually get like properly going. Building a keep takes quite an amount of resources.
He sort of like it's hard to see his facial expression with the full plate helmet, but he sort of like, he seems, his body language suggests that he's like sort of taken aback by that, and says, "Oh, so you guys are a fairly big deal then. Well, that'll be a bit of an up from the local mercenaries that we're used to dealing with."
Well, that's why we decided to show up. We assumed this wasn't an easy task, considering both the bounty and the amount of effort being put in by the king, sending people across the lands in order to find mercenaries.
Yeah, it's an awkward situation, that's for sure. It's personally, I'd like to have the Helmsward going in and poking around, but yeah, we're not exactly equipped for that sort of operation.
Yeah, it is military. Military operations are always a bit tricky, especially with delicate matters such as these.
Yeah, we subtlety isn't exactly our thing, and well, if they know the city guard is looking for the princess, then they're probably going to be making moves to secure her up, and well, there's two things I'd hate to have on my hands, and one of them's losing the princess, and the other is, well, a full-blown war with the goblins. It's not exactly something we're prepared for.
That is, goblins are nasty creatures.
Well,
Just, surprisingly enough, most of us here at least got into the business.
Really, you don't say.
It's it's an interesting story, really. I was at my friend's wedding. They was kidnapping, if you believe it or not.
Huh. So you guys must be experts.
Well, we've done like all kinds of. It's been a while since we've dealt with goblins, but
Well,
we've been through like different planes, different everything, really.
huh.
It's the world is bigger than you might think or expect. Admittedly, a lot of it you don't want to see, but hey, in all the ugliness, there's plenty of to be had.
Well. I'm happy with my house in the Reaches and looking out over this every day, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, if you ever change your mind, you can always you can always send us make us an offer, or I can make an offer.
Can't believe.
He's part of the
Grim.
guard.
Trying to recruit city guard.
We have a job.
Well, look,
So-
hey,
There's like a clanking as he like folds his gauntleted arms in, and it's just sort of like, I'll remember that, I guess.
yeah.
Why?
To be fair, he did also try to convert a member of a religious order and kind of succeeded, so...
Well, hey,
Yeah,
like
but
if you
that's
don't.
less of a stretch, I feel.
Yeah.
Well, why would it be so bad? Like, what if they wanted to get out and about more? City Guard don't do that as much.
Yeah.
Admittedly, my mercenaries so far don't either, but that's because they lack skill. City Guard has training. But yeah, that all aside.
You guys engage in sort of idle conversation for a little while longer, until basically like from just up from where you came, another group is brought. Two dwarves and two other humanoid figures sort of like accompany them, and the city guard who sort of bring them up the hill return to the head helm and sort of say, well, everything is set up and ready to go. I believe the Helmsward is getting ready to address everyone. Should we do anything else? At which point he sort of like holds up his hands and says, I think these fine folk can find their way up to the castle themselves.
And
we
that's
should
where we get lost.
I mean, you can literally see the gate to the castle from where you're standing right now, so...
Oh, I think you underestimate our ability to get lost as a group.
Well, Arya cannot become lost.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I cannot get lost.
She literally... So basically, no, he doesn't underestimate our ability to get lost, because it doesn't exist.
I mean, you
That
guys
ability
get
does
lost.
not exist.
That's not
But-
entirely.
Limit
you
does not
are.
exist.
If I was get lost.
It is fine.
But yes. So, I presume you guys make your way up to the castle.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I guess on the way up. So I remember last time when we were searching for this dagger before you joined us, Elizabeth. We had some. We were able to track items and people. I can't remember who did what anymore.
I can kind of do items. I can track items. I think I can also do people. It's been a hot second. Hold on.
Because if in that case, we might want to ask if, for any intel that might do, either an object she might have on her or just a description of herself, so we can, locate her slightly easier once we get in the vicinity.
Yeah, I can do both. But it's not super precise. especially with like locate, because I don't think I can do a specific person with locate creature, right? It's like the nearest of a certain.
Oh,
Uh,
the creature is not the one that I was was thinking about. Because there's also find person or something.
Oh, is there okay, I can't do that.
Basically, it's the exact same thing as for the item, but for a creature. Oh, for a
Yeah,
person, I guess. But that was that might have been B that had that. But no.
With locate creature,
had that.
with locate creature, the spell can locate a specific creature known to you or the nearest creature of a specific kind.
Oh, it's item.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I
But the complicated part in that is specific creature known to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we know.
Well,
I
last,
think it
last
has to be
time
somebody that like you've met.
We know of her. We don't know her.
I feel last time the description sufficed, right?
Well, the last time we were looking just for one of the snakes.
Yeah. Last time we were looking for a Yuan-Ti.
Well, I guess that also
Yeah.
helped. Oh well.
But I can also locate object. Like that's another thing that I can do.
Yes,
So...
but it's less reliable considering they could, well, remove items.
Yeah. But options.
However, that might actually lead to something that is interesting. If there are any additional things to keep an eye out for, like,
I can talk to
Royal-
animal plant.
I was more thinking like if there were any, I don't know, like crown jewels or whatever
Like other things that were stolen.
a princess would carry on her that is of
Oh, yeah.
importance.
Right.
Yeah, locate object would do for that. I should point out, whilst I have a scroll of locate object, it is not in my spellbook.
Well,
I think I can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
can
can.
do that. And I can do creature with the staff. Nope, not staff.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Retroactively, Arya, you should probably pick your spells for the day.
Yeah, how many do I get? Per
It says in your spellcasting.
Yeah, it's usually
block.
equal to. It's usually your level plus spellcasting ability.
Let's go to back here in your.
isn't it like half your level? Rounded up.
Spellcasting. It
No.
is.
Well, list of prepared spells.
When you do so, choose a number of ranger spells equal to your wisdom modifier plus half of your ranger level rounded down.
Ah, there you go.
I'll round it down.
So
So-
it's 6 for you.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys are arrive at the castle, and the gates to the inner courtyard are sort of thrown open for you guys. And as you all sort of like walk into the courtyard, there's a like a number of soldiers sort of standing there, like standing to attention. And you basically in front of you, this courtyard extends on for a short distance, and then there's a large set of wooden doors that lead into the castle. Just above that is a large, very ornate balcony, standing on which is a man who is wearing a silver and gold elegant, like not quite a crown, but a crown-like circlet, and who is wearing like a basically a fur-lined robe, but it's a very ornate fur-lined robe, presumably against the cold. But as you enter, the two dwarves and the human look up to this person and very quickly sort of like bend the knee, and are shortly followed by their other companion.
Yeah, that's a good instinct. I mean, Elizabeth would do the same thing, like straight away.
So you're kneeling as well.
Yeah.
What are the rest of you?
He's not my king, yeah?
Not really.
Eh,
He's a king.
he's a king, but he's not my king.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I feel like.
He's not the dwarf's king either.
I will bow respectively, but I'm not.
That depends where the dwarves are from.
Good point.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe going full on knee might be a little over the top, but
Yeah, like a bow is like a good, deep, respectful bow is.
yeah.
I think as far as I'm willing to go personally.
Okay.
I haven't pledged my allegiance to him, so I'm not gonna bow. And that's the plot of season 7 of Game of Thrones.
Wow. This episode is not sponsored.
I wish it was sponsored by HBO.
We are
Come
not.
on,
We are not sponsored by Game of Thrones.
Wow,
Look,
that'd
our
be
budget
fun.
would go
Man.
through the
We're
roof.
sponsored by fucking HBO.
It's got a more coherent plot than some HBO shows, but
Whoa! Brr, 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 brr. This is why we're not sponsored.
no, it isn't.
We nearly got a sponsorship, but then Ferrous said that, and
Now it's
$10 million.
$10 million sponsorship
Anyway,
wasted.
waste.
Wasted.
I think
So-
we could fit in an extra session for that.
so
I would tattoo HBO on my body if they were gonna go $dollars.
Whoa.
God.
anyway, so as this individual stands up on the balcony, you notice that emerging from behind him is a not quite fresh-faced, but very young-looking individual. They are much like the man that you assume to be the local regent. He is wearing a ornate-looking robe, but it's a much lighter-looking robe. And those of you who are like looking up to where he is, you watch as he traces a number of arcane glyphs in the air. Touches both himself and the regent. And announces, you stand in the presence of King Bothras Alisard, Helmsward and Lord of the Westreach. At which point, like, this is followed up by like a mass salute from the soldiers. At which point the man sort of continues, and he says, mercenaries from the Westreach and beyond, you have come here to answer a plea from the... Bleh. Let's try that sentence again. Mercenaries, you have come here to answer a plea from your Helmsward. The Princess Aris Alisard is missing. Your king charges you with locating and rescuing the princess and bringing her here in good health. To whoever may do that, a bounty of 2,000 gold will be granted. At which point, the man addressed as King Alisard, the Helmsward, sort of holds up his hand, steps forward, and gesturing towards the dwarves, he sort of says, citizens of the Westreach and others. It says, turning to you guys who are not bowing.
Whatever. Look.
Shrugs.
Well, it's almost like he is acknowledging that you're not from around here.
It wasn't like a petty like
No.
those who aren't bad.
We're the wrong race, to be fair.
So am I.
Yeah, no, but you're part
Yeah,
of
but
us.
you're in completely the wrong universe, so... Anyway.
I shouldn't be on this plane.
No. Well, neither should another one of you, but...
Done.
Anyway. Yeah. The king continues. You know how much my daughter means to me. In fact, 3 days from now she is... Bleh. I cannot talk today, I'm sorry.
It's alright, take your time.
3 days from now will be her coming of age, her turning of 21. I would wish to have her back before then, but her safety is paramount to me. No bounty is too great for my daughter's life. My scholars have instructed me that they believe that the princess was kidnapped. No doubt by the goblinoids south of the river, in the eastern mountains. This revelation concerns me. They have known to raid and take hostages before, but never one such as bold as this. When she was taken, my daughter was headed south to Silvercrag, on a pilgrimage to the Shrine of Helm itself. Begin your investigations there, find out what you can. And may Helm's blessing be upon you all. At which point he sort of steps back, and the younger-looking man sort of steps forward and says, "Any questions, queries, concerns, details of payment can be discussed with myself."
Well, do we have any idea what she looks like? Just like.
I will point out, if you want to ask this question, you kind of have to yell it up to the balcony.
Hello!
Because yeah,
Hey!
they've been talking to you like magically, like amplified.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks like they're also like they're turning to go inside, so presumably you can like go inside and talk about it if you want.
Oh yeah, if they're already turning away, then I assume that.
Yep.
Yeah. But I was more asking if we had like seen any paintings or anything of her. But I guess not.
Not now.
Okay. Oh.
Not to date.
Well, I have to find that guy to ask the questions.
Yeah, sort of like after this address, there's like a moment of quiet. Like the dwarves get up, as does the human and those of you who can sort of like look over these individuals now. The third figure looks like a female half-elf. She doesn't look terribly elfin, other than being tall, slender, and having the traditional pointed ears. She looks more human than elf. So, yeah, without closer inspection, it's hard to tell. But yeah, they sort of like, they get up from bowing, sort of turn towards you. The male dwarf sort of looks at you, Grim, nods, and sort of like makes a beckoning gesture.
I'm sure I'll come over.
You walk up to this dwarf. Sort of the rest of his crew sort of like stand behind him, like much as when you walk forward, the rest of your companions do. And so the male dwarf sort of like greets you with a jovial sort of smile and says, "So, let me guess. You're the Amber Eagle."
Yes. And
Quagrim, am I right?
Oh, I'm actually surprised that our name has spread this far already.
Yeah, I've heard of you. There's talk in circles.
Circles.
Do I have any clue as to who this is, or is it not even worth rolling?
Give me, because one of your benefits of the downtime was I gave you mercenary contact information, didn't I?
Yeah, but it was very specifically for IP
Yeah.
markets.
So roll me a. Roll me a straight intelligence check.
It's my best skill.
Okay. No, you have no idea who this
usually.
is.
Oh.
Well, it's fine. They're not important enough.
You would have needed to roll very high to have heard of this person. And he says, "Ah, yes. Where are my manners? Amborek Stonegrinder."
Ah, nice to meet you, Orc Stone Grinder.
Stone grinder.
Yeah, I was about to say. I feel like
You
the
can call me
soul
Borek.
Borek, that will do. I myself go by Grim usually. It's a little easier.
Grim. Huh. Very well. Well, thought I'd recognise you. Not many gnomes who go around making a business out of fighting.
Yeah, well, that's their loss. But hey, turns out.
Hey, the few I've met preferred to stick to their books and let other people do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, you might be surprised as to how much the books can help you in fighting. However, in the end, nothing beats a mace to the face, really, when it comes to dealing with scum. Or goblins, in this case.
He sort of like gestures open palm towards you and sort of says, "Can't dispute that. Though I'm more of a crossbow man myself." Sort of like gestures to the heavy crossbow on his back.
Meanwhile, Elizabeth is just like holding up a finger and is like open mouth, just like.
Just
Yes.
that Nathan Fillion gif. Just,
Yes. I must say, I was tempted, but my stature made kind of swayed me from the old large crossbow. I've gone with something a little more subtle, and I'll just show my pockets of throwing darts, I guess.
just like open your coat and it's just like knives.
Do you want to buy some darts?
I can't
Just
believe
the
you're
inside
having
of
a
his
show
cloak is
of
lined with
weapons
darts.
in front of the
Yeah.
in front of the
Yeah.
kings.
I can't-
In front of the King's Guard.
It's
What-
make a comparison to what this is like, but never mind.
But by this point, like half of them have like dispersed, but the rest are just sort of like watching you guys. Says, "Oh, you've got quite the odd bunch with you. What do you all do?"
Oh,
Luka, please.
no, I'll let them answer for themselves. I'm sure they'll be excited to know that people have actually heard of.
Yeah.
Well, me at least.
Wow.
Yeah, do we have ranks in the Amber Eagle, or are we just all kind of?
That was a good question.
I guess I haven't even thought about ranks and stuff.
mean,
That's
it's
probably in
cool,
character
yeah.
though, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've been too busy building the place to think about where everyone's ranked.
the thing is, I guess during the 6 months, because we would have had the mercenaries come in and stuff, so it would have kind of been a thing. But I guess they're I guess they're more I guess you're seniors,
COs.
veterans,
Seniors.
COs, commissioned officers.
something like that.
Non-commissioned officers. Basically, we're officers.
Something like that. Yeah, you would have
Yeah.
to figure out what it exactly is, but yeah.
On your and Grim finishes his sentence. Elizabeth will just say, "Well, I for one do what you'd expect a gnome to do," and she sort of draws her dagger and casts light on it,
Ah.
just as a mini demonstration of magic. Because that's what she normally uses as her source of light.
Just a dagger? With a light cast
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good
Ah.
dagger, and she casts light on it.
Wizard, eh? We got one of those. Sort of like gestures over his shoulder towards the half elf, who just sort of like offers a polite curtsy.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
some
And I
magic
suppose
never
I'm,
goes.
and I suppose I'm partial to sitting reading books myself as well. Somewhat of a scholar myself.
Sort of.
My name is Alad.
Sorry, carry on.
I'm just gonna do myself. My name is Arya Tallithsyr. I am one of the mercenaries. I don't know another title.
We're good at this. It's
But
fine.
I specialize in
You're the bowmaster. There you go.
bowmaster.
The
Bowmaster
bowman.
sounds super cool.
Bowmaster Arya.
It's almost like Beastmaster, but not.
Not quite. And I'm Kelariis. I kind of just like not pull my sword out, but like tap the.
Yeah, like tap the sheath and.
Yeah,
The sword.
I got me a good sword.
Good sword.
I mean,
not
yeah,
cursed anymore.
You're a dragonborn in plate armor. It basically sells itself.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I don't need to offer much explanation for what I might do.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah.
I feel
Now
like
my
the
brain as well
smiting
is
is just too much to.
Now my brain is trying to genuinely come up with like ranks that would make sense.
Well,
Wait,
I
I
guess
know.
you,
Instead of
you guys are like the inner circle, I guess.
instead of the right hand, the right wing. There you go, Kelariis.
We're
The
not.
right wing of the eagle.
I. I don't know about calling it the right wing.
Yeah, instead of the right hand man, you're the right wing.
Not great.
Yeah. I mean, that
I just now realised that.
that just reminds me of that one episode of QI where it's like they've got I can't remember what it is they're talking about, but they've got a picture of the Nazi party on the screen, and it's just like and that on the right is Joseph on the far right is Joseph Goebbels, and then what's his name
Alan
when-
Davis.
no can't think of his name. Some British comedian basically goes, but Stephen, surely they're all on the far right.
Wow.
Stephen Fry, national treasure.
Also,
Anyway.
I feel like that makes a heavy assumption of what Grim considers Kelariis' role to be in
Yeah.
the guild anyway.
Yep.
I think inner circle makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So that's-
Members of the inner circle.
Beric sort of
What's this called?
indicates the dwarf to his left and says, "Aye, well, this is Tobler. She's also good with magic, but she's much more of a healer.
Healer.
This is Gorstag," points to the human. This it's good at staying unseen in dark places. Well, that's introductions done. It's been a lovely chat. We've really got to get going. Before I go though, can I offer you some friendly competitive advice?
Well, go ahead.
We're gonna score this contract. We've already had our teeth in it for a few days. I reckon we've already got a solid idea of where to find the princess and how to get her out. The more people poking into the business, the more likely something is to go wrong. And if someone else's misstep ends up getting her killed and shorts me out of a payday, I'm gonna hold them responsible. You will nae like that. Don't let it be you.
Don't worry. We'll be around for when you need assistance eventually. But I don't think
I
we're
mean,
gonna-
Elizabeth just immediately perks up. It's just like, that wasn't really advice. That was kind of just a threat.
I don't.
You're a smart lass.
Don't worry. We
Scottish man is threatening us.
look. We'll don't worry. We'll be around to save you if when you eventually need it. However, till then, I guess best of luck, because
Gonna
I don't
need
think
it.
there's not much of a chance.
Yeah, Arya's like, bitch, please.
However, we before we go, will have to inquire into some things first. So, I guess whilst we do that, now's your time.
Well, try not to fall too far behind.
Damn.
Come on, boys. Sort of storms off in the other direction.
Once they're out of earshot, Elizabeth just go, do you reckon any of them are stupid enough to fall for the bet I can hold my breath longer than you can joke?
No.
I don't think they would be interested in it, to be honest. But you know what? Who knows?
I was more making a comment on whatever.
Well, we should see if we can inquire as to who we're actually, what the person we're rescuing actually looks like, and if they had anything else important that we should retrieve, if possible.
Basically, we need a bit more information than missing princess mountains.
Yes.
To be fair, we have gone off of less before, but not
Yeah,
ideal.
but-
Well, it wouldn't hurt us to.
Oh yes.
We have the
around,
information,
but
right?
not for too long.
I'm
No,
not.
well, look, we're just gonna ask the questions to the what are they called? The guy that was yelling at us,
Herald?
the Herald, I guess, right?
Then-
Or who was the guy? Was it the Herald that we were told to ask questions to? I thought it was.
Oh no, yeah, that's different. Whatever his rank is, let's go ask him questions.
Yeah, it wasn't clear who it was.
Let's go.
It's
ask
almost as
questions.
if it was assumed that you were supposed to know who he was.
Shrugs.
Yeah, let's just go ask questions.
Okay.
We could always ask him.
I think the best way to go about this would be asking the guard as to how best to get in touch, because I assume they might not appreciate us just walking in.
Possibly not. Good point.
Well, that said, let's head to the nearest guard, which shouldn't be too far away, I guess.
It's about like 6 feet.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we're in
That's
like
doable.
the gathering hall or whatever.
It's about.
no,
It's
no,
just
it's too
just
far.
under. It's just under 1 Kelariis away.
Yeah.
Eh.
It takes you just over 6 seconds to get there.
Oof.
6 seconds for 6 feet. God.
Well,
Slower
Well,
we
no.
walk.
Yeah, that.
I guess, excuse me.
I meant
But
to be just
the
over a
person
second.
that was, oh, yep.
I messed up my joke. I meant to say it takes you just over a second because you can move 5 feet. You can move like 30 feet in a round, and each round is 6 seconds. So, yeah, never mind.
Ah.
Bad joke. It failed.
Anyway,
You tried. It was a worthy effort.
The
one
idea was
terrible
there.
DM joke later.
Well, there we go. Excuse me. May I ask what would be the best way of? Well, we, as previously mentioned, if we had any questions, we should, ask whomever announced it to us. However, we are not sure how best to go about this.
The guard sort of like nods and says, you're out of towners.
Yes.
What gave it away?
Just a little bit.
I don't know.
He smiles and sort of says, don't worry, you're not the first.
Well, that's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Magus Lyn is the one you want to talk to. He's the court wizard.
Okay.
That would explain it.
Max, huh?
I assume we can't just walk in and ask to see him, can we?
Not through that door, he says, pointing at the big double doors. He says, but you can go that way. And, like, points around the corner. He's like, there's a servant's entrance. You can find your way in from there.
Very much appreciate it.
It's not a problem.
I guess we'll go in and find him.
You sorry, carry on.
Can I just point out how much of a Scottish Renaissance or medieval Italy this is?
I can't
We've got
do
the
an
dwarf
Italian
and now
accent.
this
That's the
guard.
problem.
I like
But-
the accent so
problem.
far anyway.
It's fine.
So
No, yeah, I like them. It's just they're very Scottish.
Anyway,
but yes, we head over to the service.
yeah, you walk around to the servants' entrance. There's just a ring handle step inside. There's a sort of like a you step into a side corridor where there's a number of sort of like servants hustling and bustling. One of them stops and says, "Can I help you?"
Yes, we were looking for the court wizard. We have some questions in relation to the kidnapping that we assume he might be able to help us with.
You must be new. Yes. Please, this way, and sort of leads you off down a side path into a small room that is set off from the where the side passage meets like the main corridor, and it's a red-walled room with a number of paintings and a series of long hanging curtains. And the serving staff sort of says to you, "If you'll wait here, I will contact Magus Lynn and let him know that you're here."
Okay.
Disappears off. A few moments later, striding into the room is the youthful-looking man that you saw previously. Sort of steps in, adjusts his collar, and says, hello. Magus Lynn. I presume introductions are necessary."
Yes. Quagrim Daemaris. Well, and I guess I'll just let everybody else.
Companions.
Elizabeth Topaz Agiad, and she'll do a little bow.
I see.
But we had some questions that we assumed you might be able to help us with.
No doubt.
First and foremost, we are not familiar with what the princess looks like, and we decided it might be best if we assumed that like there would be a painting or something along the sorts of her.
He sort of nods and says, "Well, I can do you one better." And he begins to cast a spell.
Oh, okay.
And creates a minor image of the princess.
Oh.
Excellent.
Yeah, standing before you is a very beautiful young woman. Her hair is sort of it's long and what's the word for it? I don't want to say voluminous. Yeah, she's got long, thick black hair that sort of cascades down past her shoulders and begins to curl sort of at the bottom. And in the minor image, she's wearing a like a short blue, like a short-sleeved blue dress. She is wearing like a silver pendant around her neck and a small tiara, and yeah, like as he gestures with his hand, the Magus sort of like makes her turn around in front of you. Sort of says, "Yes, this is Princess Arya."
Is this what she was wearing when she disappeared then?
I'm afraid I don't know the answer to that.
Fair enough.
It had been a day or so. She was on a pilgrimage, it's part of the local custom for descendants of the ruler here is when they are supposed to turn 21, they are supposed to perform pilgrimage to the Shrine of Helm. It's a very age-old practice. It's been observed for generations, and normally the only accompaniment is the prince or princess and their personal handmaiden. Under this circumstance it was a little different. She was accompanied by a number of guards, as we were perhaps a little concerned for her safety considering the increased activity along the mountain border. But, well, to put it quite simply, she never made it to her destination.
And what of the others that were with her?
Their fate is unknown, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
The only reason that we know that they're missing is that, well, a number of the townsfolk along the road found the cart that they were travelling in abandoned. The horses bolted and a number of their belongings left behind.
Interesting.
Where exactly is the shrine?
Well, are you familiar with the town of Silvercrag?
Its location?
Yes.
Yeah, that's about it.
Well,
Oh yeah.
if you were to travel to Silvercrag and maybe travel for a few hours out beyond its southern border down towards the river, it's tucked in a small forest at the base of the mountain. It is maintained by a skeleton staff, but yes, it is otherwise fairly out of the way. The princess's procession, however, never actually made it to the town itself. We believe the abduction took place just outside of the town, shortly before reaching the town's perimeter, in fact.
Okay.
Well, there was one thing that we came to realize on our way here. Like, is there anything else we should keep an eye on whilst we're out there? And then when I say that, I'm referring to, are there any, what's it called? Well, materials, like, I don't know if it's yet, like, special jewels or something that you are aware of that have gone missing, that, like some family heirlooms that we should, like, if we came across them, we should retrieve.
He nods and says, I follow your train of thought. Perhaps I should explain a little more. When the princess was taken, it seems a number of things were taken alongside her and her companions. A large chunk of their personal funds were taken from the cabin, and a number of items of clothing, but a number of particularly distinct items were left behind. The princess's crown, for example. It seems these items, normally they would just be on the princess's possession, but it seems like they were deliberately left behind.
It's in itself a very interesting, well, Turn
I mean,
oral.
I was going to say suspicious.
Suspicious.
Suspicious is the words I would have
bad
used.
or good. I'm not sure what to make of it, but it's.
My first instinct was to attempt to track the princess through one of her belongings, but unfortunately I breached with no success.
I will admit that is one of the routes I was hoping to pursue. However, luckily we have more options available. Yes.
Rob, could I track her?
You'd need to be in the location to attempt it. Like, you can't just roll to track her from here, but if you were to go to the site of the ambush, you might be able to uncover something that nobody else has.
Okay. Cool. I was just wondering.
Yep. No, that's definitely within the purview of your abilities.
And if you can't track her, you can probably track whatever took her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Especially if it's a monstrosity.
Well, actually, you don't have that ability anymore. You're just good at tracking everything now.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's no longer unique to monstrosities. Yes, your days spent in the Feywild completing your ranger training have you're no longer quite so specialized in being able to track one thing. You've now learned how to track most things.
Wait, you have the message spell, right? Are we aware you can cast message? I guess.
We know.
You can imply that from what the herald said to you.
Oh no, I meant not the wizard, but our wizard.
Oh, your
Elizabeth.
wizard.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, our wizard has message.
No,
Do you not have message?
I don't have message.
What?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
What kind of wizard are you?
Oh, except it's not message. It's sending.
Oh, extending.
Do you have sending?
No.
Okay. Great.
Right, scratch whatever thought that was.
Well, if only you knew another wizard who could use sending.
Yeah, but it won't be of. I was gonna use it to in case of anything that we could. I was gonna say, oh, then we can communicate to the wizard, and then he wouldn't be surprised if there was anything
Scrolls.
they needed to be aware.
Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I don't want to ask for a scroll. That's like asking for a ton of gold. I'm not gonna do that.
It's a scroll of
Rude.
sending. It'd be like 10 gold. Sending's not a high level spell.
It's 3rd level.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Mine then.
Pretty high level.
It might be expensive, but yeah, I'm just making you aware that Elizabeth knows that that's something she could probably buy or probably ask for.
However, that is not something I'm used to, so I'm just gonna move
Yep,
on.
I mean,
We've never had a wizard in our.
Grim is not familiar with is slightly familiar with Elizabeth's abilities, but not to that degree yet.
Not yet. It's fine.
Getting there.
Well,
Yeah.
in that case, I guess we will. I guess that is it for now. I guess if we think of anything crucial, we may return, but I assume that we're better off looking at the actual. Investigating the actual area itself. But otherwise, we much appreciate you taking some time out for us, and hopefully this will lead us to the princess.
Indeed. I'm not sure what you're hoping to find so long after the incident, but you're certainly welcome to try. I
You might be
can
surprised.
mark.
You've never talked to a ranger before.
I can mark the location for you on your map if you have one, but
Oh,
I'm
that'd be
sure
helpful.
somebody in this room fucking
That
Here, let me mark your map.
that would be convenient, as that would save us, quite some time.
okay. can mark it on your actual map.
Oh my god.
Woohoo.
We have an actual map to mark. Let's just do a dramatic zoom in on our location.
So the abduction occurred. Whoops! Wow, the thickness of this line. Let's do a thin line. Okay, that's not quite right, but
Oh, there.
Oh, maybe so.
there we go. Yeah, just on the outskirts of Silvercrag.
Right, so it's just below the giant R and the giant A. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, look for the giant flying R and A in the sky, and you're about there.
Cool.
That sounds alright.
And the shrine is, as he described, or oops, this side.
And do we have any idea where like the goblins and such seem to have like a lot of concentrated activity, or do they just know
Megaslin will tell you. Basically, it's the border of the West Reach basically ends on the river below Silvercrag. It's then that you're getting into. It's basically a different lord's territory, the Lord of Green Abbey, and essentially, if you, I'll point with the ruler tool. Basically, the mountains here on the south side of the river are where the goblinoids and ogres are supposedly resident in that mountain range. And essentially they come across the river, they raid, and then they go back. Or have done in the past.
Well, I suppose that cuts out a nice large majority of the mountain range.
Yes, essentially we are looking on the south side of the river. Finding them will not be difficult. They have a number of sort of clan camps and denoted areas in which they I must admit I'm not familiar with the whatever nefarious doings those sort of creatures get up to, but
Well, that's alright.
one
It's for us to find out.
one thing I will say is whoever's behind this isn't your average goblin plot. It's too organized, too well thought out. Whoever's behind it is intelligent, which is not a usual qualification of goblinoids.
Yes. Well, luckily we have experience with the unusual, but it's more than I'd like, perhaps. But in the end, it does turn out to be useful.
Well, if you need any more guidance, the people of Silvercrag may be able to help you to
Yes.
locate any locations in nearby vicinity, but I'm afraid that's all I can offer you.
You've offered more than I expected to find out already. So many thanks, and we should probably try and keep on moving if we want to solve this within any reasonable time.
It concerns me that it's been this long that the princess has been missing and no demands have been made. I am concerned that something has happened to her.
Well, I will not even suggest what that means.
Grim! Oh my God.
Why are you like this?
However, I will. I hope for the best, of course.
It can mean any
On
number
a
of
side
things.
note, is there a,
Wait, hold on.
Well, if
Well,
they're
like-
yeah, Elizabeth will pipe up to say, like, well, if they're intelligent enough to organize this well, then they're intelligent enough to know how important a person they've captured is, and they'll know that she's far more value to them alive and unharmed.
how likely is it that we'd find a cleric that can cast resurrection or something along those
I
lines?
swear to God.
I would say a 100% chance, because we have one.
No,
Yeah, but that one is 3 weeks away,
Yeah, that's too far.
and the time is like a week or something on
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah.
That's. Then we better hope that wizard knows teleport. But yeah.
Anyway, I don't.
I mean,
think
he
we
said
just-
ideally get her
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
within 3 days. He didn't say we
We should
had to
go.
get her back within 3 days.
In yeah, the 3 days, it's like it's her birthday in 3 days. If you would find her by then, that would be appreciated because then we could have a party. But it's not like you have 3 days to find her. It was more of it's her birthday in 3 days.
She will officially win at blackjack in 3 days.
But yeah, in response to your question, or in response to your statement, Elizabeth, Megaslin sort of like smiles to himself and sort of says, "Yes, that is the same sentiment that I have been holding out hope for, and I believe the Helmsward has been holding on to as well."
But hey, we will make this work.
I love to imagine that Grim says all of this in front of like this poor guy.
I know. Arya's just like face palming in the background.
I mean, the Mega seems actually fairly cool-headed about this. Like he's trying to remain objective. So,
Hey,
well,
bad news is better than no news, I guess. So even if we,
Well, the more time we spend standing here, the less time we're spending, saving
well,
someone's life. So maybe we should go. If we're done asking questions.
We should go.
Oh yeah, we were done quite some time ago.
if there's
Let's go then.
if there's anything else, feel free to return or contact me in any way that you can.
We'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Best of luck. And yeah,
Thank you very much.
you are escorted out of the castle. Back into the streets of Helm's Blessing. At this point, it's probably getting towards late afternoon. What do you guys want to do?
Well, do we want to set out?
Probably for the best. I suppose we've got sort of a chance to do a bit of last-minute prep.
Let's see. Well, we know we're gonna head into mountains and woods, basically.
Which, like, my
Uh,
forte.
The only thing I can imagine we might want is maybe a climbing kit or something in case we run into a wall. Well, or like if they have like I imagine in the mountains that might be useful. I don't know if you have one.
I thought we did.
think-
I feel like we've had a climbing kit at
Oh.
some point. I don't know if it was.
Yeah, I mean, you guys did do some abseiling at one point. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That went
But we have
that
it's
went
because we
phenomenally
have-
well because you failed to tie the rope twice.
I
Yeah.
Well, it's because I have a grappling hook with a rope.
Oh, but you don't have a climbing kit.
Mm. How much is a climbing?
Admittedly, that's like
25 gold, I think.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of money.
It is a lot. It's a big investment.
Oh,
It's more money than I've got.
but what's his name? Magus Lin, before you guys leave, will of course pay you the per head gold for answering the call.
It's 40.
So you guys get 40 gold.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I now have 60 gold. I've already made a profit. Triple my money. Going well.
If we want to get a climbing kit, I could pay for it because I have just.
Yeah, I have 100 gold, so.
Yeah, I have 100. I guess it's unless we're adding the gold we just got to party in or party gold, then I have.
We should.
Actually-
We still need to deduct gold from the party gold for the keep.
Oh, also fair.
Because
Oh.
I feel like that would be a little cheating. Like, oh no, we just keep the 6,500 gold.
So just delete the. Because how much gold do you have in the party fund?
6,500.
Okay.
According bag of holding.
Okay, so delete the 6,500. Leave the rest. And
Deleting.
Oh.
Okay, I'll do it.
No, I got nope. Okay. Go, Minnie.
We got this.
Between the two of us, we'll figure it out.
and yeah, you make sure to note that you guys owe like 35,000 somewhere. No, not 35,000. Sorry,
3,500.
Three-
or 35,000?
3,500.
Okay. Gonna just. We'll just add it under here. So yeah, I'll like whatever the 10 gold on my part, like I'll just add it straight to the.
Yeah. Okay. And you guys are buying a climbing kit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you can easily find that in town.
Cool. Who will carry the climbing kits, or do we just put it in party supplies?
Oh, we just put it in the bag of holding.
Yeah. Okay. Climbing kits.
Okay.
Sure, that will pay off at some point.
I mean,
Now we're gonna get to a climbing wall, so thanks for that.
math. I can do math.
Okay. So, you guys do a bit of shopping. And because it is now getting towards the middle of winter. The sky is already dark by the time you come out. People are going through the streets lighting lanterns in the street. And it is cold. Bitterly cold out in the streets. Even for those of you who are wrapped up warm, it is cold.
I think Elizabeth's then gonna go, given it's already dark, is leaving the city now a bad idea?
Like, it's about like a day and a half. It's a day's like, what was it, like a day and a half travel to where we need to go?
Yeah, day and a half. With Arya's capabilities, probably more like a day. you'll probably get there like by the end of the day.
Well, I was hoping that maybe, like, if we return Princess before her birthday, we would receive some extra credit. However, I don't think we're going to be able to do that regardless. So we're probably best off spending the night here.
Okay, so I guess you're going to find a tavern or something.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, as you walk through the streets, one place does catch your eye that seems to be sort of like the busiest and most occupied tavern. It's a fairly sort of tall wood and stone building that sort of rises up in the middle of basically like on a corner between two primary streets, and sort of on a sign arm that sticks out into the junction between the two streets. It basically has a long sign with a painting of a very jovial man in a brown robe who's holding up like an ale tankard that seems to be overflowing. And the name of the inn is the Pleasant Friar.
Oh, guess we're going into the Pleasant Friar.
Hopefully it's pleasant.
Wow.
And not a friar.
Okay, so you guys step inside, and yeah, in here it seems to be packed would be an understatement on the first floor. Like you have to sort of like wade through patrons to even get close to the bar. But yes, eventually get close to the bar. You do, and a number of very beleaguered bartenders are sort of going around like trying to serve everyone drinks. And as you sort of like make your way up to the bar, somebody says, "Be with you in 2." Goes away, finishes serving a drink, comes back and says, "Right, what can I do for you?"
I guess we just a room for the night.
Rooms? Yeah, I think we've still got a handful left. How many do you need?
Looks.
How many beds are in a room?
2 at most.
So we'd probably need 2.
Yeah.
2 I can probably do.
If we don't mind sharing. I'm sure we don't.
No.
I feel like we've
we'll be
done
fine.
that often
Yeah,
enough.
I feel like we're past the party.
If anything, it's yeah. It was Elizabeth, but you know they've stayed at the fort long enough.
Okay. So amidst sort of like the hustle and bustle, the bartender disappears. Comes back with 2 like wooden like placards, and sort of says, "These are rooms upstairs. You guys can claim them. Keep your stuff in there." It's they're probably not the best upkeep. I can do you a small discount if that's all right.
Oh, gross.
Sure. We'll be gone and we'll be leaving early anyway.
Ideal.
Okay for the night.
For 2 then, do you 4 silver?
They're gonna be so bad,
I
guys.
know.
Bargain.
Oh, that's a discounted room. Hmm.
Arya's like, should we just go camp?
Right.
Can't believe you guys are being the snobby ones.
I would
we
rather
can-
not get bed bugs.
I'm the one with the wealthy parents here.
Well, it's well, we'll just do what's the worst thing. The worst case, we leave and find somewhere else.
Worst case, we wake up with bed bugs.
No, as in worst case, like if it's terrible, we'll just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's even though it would have to be pretty darn bad before Grim would admit to it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
And
So
Elizabeth's happy to just go, it's only one night.
the exchange occurs. You guys go up to the room, sort of dump your stuff. Upon entering the rooms, it's not perhaps as bad as it was set out to be. Like, the rooms
They
are
want you to think.
the rooms
Get a
are
black light in there.
look like a Jackson Pollock painting.
Yeah.
Oh, God!
No, the rooms themselves are small. They've got 2 beds, like, just about fitting in them. And, like, there's enough room to get the door open and, like, maybe move around, but yeah, the space in the room is not ideal.
Well, whatever. A
And,
small room I can deal with.
yeah,
Yeah, see, it's not that bad.
it's not unclean, but it hasn't been cleaned recently. Like the floor is like a little dirty, but it's salvageable.
Locate
I was
creature
having all
bed
sorts of
bugs.
nightmare scenarios.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that's an amazing use. I just realized you can locate creature and bed bugs and see if
Ah! No!
Oh my
I don't want to
God.
know.
I was like,
I'm a bit
maybe it's better
ignorant.
not to know at this point.
God, why are you so paranoid about this? It's just small. Like, he's just trying to be modest because they sell rooms, and then how many people with this amount of people? How many people do you reckon walk in on a room like this and decide that's reason enough to complain? Give the guy a break.
I'm just saying.
It's-
like there's nothing wrong with these rooms, but
Yeah,
it could have been.
it's definitely not the best accommodation that you guys have ever stayed in.
Well, we stayed in like super fancy.
I mean, when
Yeah.
you went to Mardan and stayed in a magically air-conditioned hotel, so
Yeah, it's pretty fancy.
Actually.
Yeah.
Do you guys turn in for the evening, or are you gonna get drinks and food?
Maybe food is nice, huh?
Yeah, food.
Well,
Probably.
Let's see if it's any better than our cuisine, I guess.
Anything's better than fucking trail rations.
We weren't eating trail rations. I was
No, you
summoning.
Yeah.
No, well,
you were eating
Oh, yeah, no, sorry.
flavorless magic food and drink.
yeah, flavorless.
Which is
magic
probably
food.
worse than
Which,
trail
actually, yeah, it probably is worse than trail rations.
Trail rations aren't actually that gross. They are actually kind of nice.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Just like water and like.
Like,
paste.
at least the meat tastes of salt.
Yeah.
Hi, look. It's free.
Wow.
It
I
is
mean,
free.
Do you have prestidigitation? Because you can flavor it.
Oh.
I do not have prestidigitation.
What kind of a wizard are you?
What wizard are you? You don't have spinning, you don't have
A wizard who's moved
prestidigitation.
beyond such petty beginner spells as prestidigitation. God.
Yep, so far beyond that they can't cast them anymore.
God.
I mean,
Quick
surely
to judge
we
you lot, aren't
managed
you?
to find like herbs or something on the road.
You've all seen my
Arya.
spell list. Why are you acting so surprised?
I
Anyway,
I expected this wizard to be like the answer to all of our wizard prayers.
who is
So
this
far, it's been,
wizard?
like,
I can't take that many spells. God.
Anyway,
Tell you what, we could go out and buy a scroll of prestidigitation. It's only 10
What spells do you have?
I think there's an exception for cantrips. You can't. do
yeah, I don't think
cantrips.
you can learn cantrips
No.
and scrolls.
Well,
Moving on, I guess.
Anyway,
But like,
Anyways.
jeez.
so you guys head downstairs. There's a second floor that is seems to be reserved for patrons only. That seems to be a little less crowded. And yeah, you guys sort of sit down. Someone comes over and you order some food. It's probably not that expensive because it's probably not super great food. It's like pub grub sort of thing.
Yeah, but does it have flavour?
It does have flavour.
Then it
All
wins.
right, look
It just
here.
tastes like grease.
It's like sausages and mashed potatoes. It's fine.
Ooh, I'll take that.
That was way too
Bangers and
exciting.
mash.
Anyway,
Bangers and mash.
so you guys sit down, have a meal, and as you are having this meal, what are your passive perceptions?
13.
Bad.
Kill it. Bad. It's me. I'm the highest with
With
15.
15. Okay.
I've got 30.
Okay. So, none of you notice this until he's basically standing at your table. But, Grim, you look up from your eating, and standing next to you is the human that you met at the castle earlier.
Oh, the sneaky buggy.
Who was introduced as Gorstag. He's sort of he's standing there and he's got two flagons of ale in his hands, and he's sort of like, "Hey, didn't know you guys were staying here."
It's only it's just a quick thing. Didn't want to head out in the dark.
Considering we're gonna go looking for clues, looking in the dark is kind of useless anyway.
Yeah, I
Not for
suppose that makes sense.
I can see in the dark.
Yeah, alright, miss, I can see in the dark.
Am I the only one in the party now who can do that?
No, Grim can as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
It's just me and Kelariis.
He sort of looks over his shoulder to make sure he's not being observed, and sort of leans into you. Grim sort of says, "Don't let Boric know that I talked to you, but I sort of wanted to say, I don't know, I guess I'm sorry for earlier."
Don't worry about it.
When there's money involved, Boric can be kind of an ass. It's just kind
he's
of
not
that
alone.
guy, you know.
It's fine. It's a lot of money. People do crazy things for that kind of money.
Yeah. Well, if we can land it, we've not had a score like that in quite some time.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah.
no hard feelings, I guess. He sort of offers you the tankard that he's holding.
Sure, I'll take it. No hard feelings. Well, we'll still happily help you out.
He sort of raises his mug to you and says, "Cheers."
Cheers.
And
I will cautiously start drinking as if expecting it's just a nip to check.
Yeah, I
the
was gonna
taste.
say, is
Yeah.
it poison?
he disappears back into the crowd as you sort of sit there, sniff it, drink it a little bit. Doesn't seem to be.
Well. Oh, I won't get. I won't go all over the top, sniffing and inspecting. I'll just be like, does this taste like it's supposed to taste? Then it's probably okay. And then I'll just drink it like normal.
Grim was found dead in bed.
Dun dun!
No, oh no, they're just gonna provide me with crippling diarrhea, so we get delayed.
It's fine. I can probably fix it.
Oh yeah, you can cure disease.
I can just lay on hands. It's okay. I think that works for purpling.
Yep.
Yeah, I bet they. Also, you're just a dragonborn in plate armor. They might not know you're a paladin.
No,
Oh,
they
this is
usually
fine.
don't actually, because I don't think I look like what you'd expect a paladin to look like.
Yeah, you don't wear like religious symbolism.
Yeah, none of that's like out in the open. So.
Let's go.
Okay, so I guess we go back to the table. What do you guys discuss?
I guess
I am
just like,
concerned.
what are you concerned about? Yeah.
No, I mean
What-
it's been
What could there
so long.
possibly be to be concerned about?
Right?
Aside from everything.
The fact that it's been so long and there hasn't been any user sighting isn't exactly. Well, it's not exactly bad news, but it's not great either.
It's not promising.
I mean, for all we know, they have her like for a specific, so they don't need to like ransom.
I mean, the way I see it, there's two reasons that stuff would have been deliberately. Well, no, three reasons stuff might have been deliberately left behind. Reason one, which is probably the least likely, the princess deliberately dropped it so that people could help, so that people could try and find her easier. Reason number two, the kidnappers dropped it knowing full well that she could be tracked by those items. And reason three, I forgot what my reason three was.
Great.
Convincing. The thing is, it's clear that they were going after her specifically instead of anything just for money if they left things behind to her. So
Oh yeah, I've remembered now. Reason three, it's a trap.
I mean, it's definitely a trick.
What do you mean it's a trap?
Well, as in like, they've left all this stuff behind, made a scene, been deliberately not subtle with it in order to get people to try and chase them and come after the princess, only to ambush, kill them, and otherwise do whatever. I don't know.
there are so many better ways to do that.
There is. But you know, I'm just theorizing at this point.
You know, Elizabeth, I think you might be right.
About which one? I just gave three theories.
All of them.
Can't be all of them. What?
They could be.
I mean, I think that whoever took her has a specific purpose in mind and doesn't care if people know that she's gone.
But I'm sure Elizabeth can get her back.
Is this entirely my job now?
No. I was referring to your. No. You're just great at stuff.
Thank you.
This is a weird turn in this conversation.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Neither does Elizabeth.
Like, was you on our side? There's. Okay, well, everything will be fine.
Okay, Elizabeth's actually gonna like. Who do I reckon? Who's probably I should probably lead into. Arya, and in Elvish just like mutter. I thought he'd be better at holding drink. Is this what he's like when he's drunk?
I don't know what's wrong with him. This is not him drunk. I've seen him drunk.
Yeah, we've all seen him drunk. This is not.
Yeah.
Oh,
But Elizabeth hasn't, so Elizabeth's just like,
True.
What's going on here?
Surely Grim has been drunk at the. Well, I guess maybe not that drunk, but.
Probably not in front of the troops.
Yeah.
Nope.
Not great for morale. Your commanding officer was like drunk off his ass.
No, we've all seen it.
We've all seen it. Elizabeth.
It's fine. Look, there's no Vandal here, so there's no drinking buddy.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Yeah.
no drinking,
Oh,
buddy.
That's true.
Yeah, because Arya and
Oh.
Kelariis don't really drink.
Yeah, like, we drink very sparingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then she'll sort of just like, well, like, I guess the most likely thing is they're holding it for some sort of weird, specific purpose that does not require monetary gain. I mean, let's be honest, what would a lot of goblins and ogres have to do with gold anyway? The only thing they can do with gold is buy stuff, and no one's gonna sell stuff to them because they're goblins and ogres.
Yeah. I think whatever is happening, like, they don't care right off.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Unless
something
it's
that
maybe
Arya
they're
would
just keeping her as some form of protection, knowing now that if they have her, they're safe from a more forceful retaliation.
Yeah.
Could just be
It
something
doesn't
like that.
keep people from trying to come in to save her, and that's a big problem for them.
Yeah, I feel
No,
like if they
but
wanted-
I'd imagine smaller groups of potentially less organized responses is easier to deal with than a full military patrol.
But if they kidnap the only princess of the realm, surely they would expect a huge spot.
Of course not. Just it's like Elizabeth said, just safety. Like if they were to take Elizabeth, I would be terrified of what like they might do.
Why am I always the example here?
I look at Arya just like, what the
I
fuck?
don't know what's going on, man.
Surely it'd be more of an impact if, say, they took Kelariis.
Yeah, but like, I wouldn't. I don't think it would. I don't think it would be the same. I feel like you're important to me, and I'll like.
Elizabeth's like,
I'll, like,
scoots
take your
away
hand.
really awkwardly.
Why do I
Elizabeth's
feel
like
like Graham is about to confess to her?
Yeah, Elizabeth like scoots away really awkwardly.
Oh no.
Arya's like,
know.
Arya's like loving
Is
this
there?
now.
Oh fuck! I don't.
What's going on?
Oh,
No, Kelariis doesn't know. Kelariis doesn't know.
Maybe there was something in that drink. I don't know.
Maybe there was.
I
This
think
is-
I have an idea, but Kelariis would have no idea, so I can't do anything.
the drink has nothing to do with it. It's
Ironically, in this party, I think Arya has the most romantic experience, but my last relationship was with a dead guy.
He wasn't dead at the time.
No, he's
least I
definitely
hope not.
dead.
He was a little dead.
No, I mean like, ugh.
We
Oh,
worked
like
together. No,
beforehand.
we worked together when he was alive.
Yeah, I suppose.
that's true.
Oh, no.
Now that's a sin never fixed.
Yep.
Fantasy role-playing games, everybody.
Hooray!
You. So yeah.
Well, anyway, that was weird.
Oh. Yeah.
Arya, this is definitely more than just
No.
drunk Graham. I'm not.
He's only
sure.
had one. He's only had one drink anyway. I would have thought he'd be like, you know.
He also
rather
hasn't
lightweight.
even finished it. He hasn't touched it since like the first sip.
Which is very worrying. I'm gonna laugh if there's actually nothing wrong with this drink. It's just Minnie being less than tactful.
Oh. Just
Then we've got to worry about like Grim. I didn't realize Elizabeth was Grim's type.
Grim have a type? Wizards?
Yeah, I thought it. Yeah, I thought his type was Dragonborn.
I thought his type was
Wow.
Arya's ass.
Wow.
Yeah, and that.
What is your?
Can't
okay,
even
on a
see
scale-
Elizabeth's ass. She's wearing a fucking robe.
Oh, on a scale of 1 to 20, how it is Elizabeth's ass? We need to know.
Well, you can't even see it. She's wearing a goddamn robe.
Anyway,
Can we roll? Can we
Well,
roll
if
for
you're-
Elizabeth's ass?
I don't think we need to roll it.
Can't see her ass.
Right now, it's definitely a 20.
What the fuck is going on?
Oh no! What happened?
But the only person who'd ever get to see Elizabeth's ass is the person who happens to share a room with her.
Why is this something that we're even talking about?
I don't know, cause Grim made it
Look.
weird.
It's not my fault, it's fine. But, yeah.
I'm like 100% sure there's something in that drink at the point.
But yes. Well... Still, we haven't like divvied up the room for tonight, I guess.
I don't know if you should go with Elizabeth. I'm a
No,
little
I
worried.
don't think
Yeah.
so.
Elizabeth like
Oh.
scoots more towards Arya, and it's just like.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
Okay, hold the fuck on. Grim, what has gotten into you?
Oh, have you never looked into those deep, insert correct color here eyes?
Blue.
Insert colors.
It's not hard. Everything is blue.
Everything
Oh,
is
yeah.
blue. She's very blue.
Insert icon.
Can I zap him? Would that help?
I don't know.
I mean, you could try.
But would you? Would you zap your superior?
Mm,
See?
If he's being weird, yes.
This is fine.
Oh god.
do I know what languages Elizabeth knows?
I mean,
All of
she
them.
probably very
All
yeah.
of them? Oh, literally.
You probably do, and to answer that question, she knows Common, Primordial, Auran, Elvish, Gnomish, Infernal, and Dracon.
Oh, you do
Oh.
know Draconic. Okay, great, fun. Though I guess before that, can I pick up the cup that was given to Grim?
You certainly can.
Can I look at what's in it?
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
Yay, investigation.
Hey!
Wow.
Investigation,
Suspicious
20.
TM.
Nice.
Suspicious.
This is fine.
So, with your natural 20 on investigation, you sort of like shake the drink around. It looks perfectly normal. Until... That has to have been a trick of the light, but you swear a single heart-shaped bubble rose to the top and popped.
Oh, I was right.
There's a love potion.
Does Kelariis know what that is?
I'm gonna go with no.
Fuck. Okay.
You know, I need a little more to drink. Can I have a
No,
drink?
no.
No, you're
I
cut
hand
off.
I hand him a cup of normal
Ugh.
water that I was drinking out of. I don't fucking know.
Well, I guess this will do.
I look at Elizabeth and just like, can you, can you look if this has any magic going on with it?
But
Can I look at it and see if there's anything weird?
I mean,
But like
would say that
Elizabeth
influence on it
is
is
all
just-
magic.
do you have any?
Oh, for fuck's
Do you have any skills that would let you do that?
Oh,
Do you perhaps have a spell that lets you do that?
I mean, ooh,
Or a skill?
that gives me. At which point Elizabeth just goes, ooh, and she's. I want to cast a spell.
Go for it.
I want to cast Dispel Magic on Grim.
Hey,
Okay.
Fun.
good
Nice.
call.
Okay. Yeah. You cast Dispel Magic on Grim. Grim, the charm effect that you are under is dispelled.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
thank fucking god.
Well, that was interesting.
Getting back to normal Grim?
Yeah, definitely. This all meant nothing. No,
It's weird.
no, that was. Whoa. Wait, what actually happens when it breaks? I do realize what it.
You are aware you were charmed.
Can I just? Okay. Given that there's now a noticeable change in his attitude, and there's like weird bubbles in the whatever, I'm going to electrocute that guy next time I see him, and you guys can't stop me.
Okay.
Don't. I
Maybe
think
don't-
That was creepy.
I think
Maybe
like
don't
I
put
think.
it in front of any guards. Is all I'll say.
Oh no, yeah, obviously. I'm not that stupid.
Well, admittedly, this was a relatively harmless prank, I guess. But
Yeah!
Says
it
you.
does show that they definitely want to well, scare us off, I guess.
I mean, yeah, there is something up with them.
I mean, it seems.
Yeah.
Well,
like they're
there's
just
2,000 gold up with them, but that's what's up.
Yeah, but
Like
there's
for the mere like 100 gold bounty, we wouldn't have like gone down here.
yeah, but like even if it was a 4,000 gold bounty, I wouldn't be sneaking love potions into people's drinks so that they fall in love and creepily flirt with their fellow party member. I wouldn't do it for 10,000 gold.
Yeah, it's pretty
Elizabeth
bad.
is raising her voice. Kelariis like kind of shushes her a little bit. Like, okay, maybe don't yell that.
Yeah.
Not shushes, but like
Just
you know, like, maybe don't yell that in the inn that we're staying in.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Yeah.
But maybe we learned a valuable lesson about accepting drinks from people we don't without checking.
Well, I will
Well-
say it's from extrapolation. The fact that they poisoned you, but not lethally poisoned you. The aim was definitely to humiliate you.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing we didn't let it go too far.
Again, says you.
Yeah, I didn't start singing for you yet. That would have been a nightmare.
Would have been
What?
quite funny to see. Sorry, Elizabeth, but
Hmm. Well.
I have to say, you played that masterfully, Minnie, because you just
Yeah.
like started to go in that direction, and
Yeah,
we were all
it was
like,
really
"What
good.
the fuck?"
Yeah,
Oh.
that was really
Yeah.
good. That was fun.
Yeah, that went better than I expected.
Yep, that was good. That went exactly as I was hoping.
10 out of 10 RP.
it was extremely good.
I do not want to sleep in the same room as Grim, though.
Well,
That's
fair enough.
understandable.
That is fair.
Oh, honestly, I kind of assumed that was gonna be there from the beginning, considering like, whoa, you're the
Considering
only
what?
one. Well, like I'm like the only male, and you're the only one that that I haven't really slept in the same.
Oh, I see.
So it's like kind of that awkward phase.
Yeah, I mean like, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
fair note.
Like, or the three others of you have seen each other in your underwear on multiple occasions.
Yeah, that is.
And even though I probably don't mind, it's more like a sign of, disrespect.
Yeah.
I mean, let us not forget the days you were bunking in Silverrook Hall, like 5 of you to a room.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You've come a long way since then.
Yes.
So-
What were we talking about?
Strategy.
Oh,
Yes, that. We were trying to figure out why Taken and where Taken and
Why, where, how, what?
who, what, where, why, when. What?
Someone with a
What?
particular set of skills.
We will find them. We will look for them. We will find them, and we will kill them. Not the princess, though.
hmm.
No.
No, surely not.
But yeah, I was just saying, I was tossing theories around. That's about it, really. That's all I've got. But then again,
Wait.
can't really expect anything else from me at the moment.
Before we continue, do we see the other party somewhere in the inn?
You cast your gaze around the tavern. From where you're sitting, they're nowhere to be seen.
You know, they probably followed us here, just by the by, because there's no way he just like happened upon us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was more thinking like maybe we could pull a small prank on them in return, but for now I think we'll be out.
Okay.
But yes, as for our, yeah, we hadn't really decided on why Princess was being taken, but we didn't really have an answer. Did we? Is there anything else we we could do. I don't think there is much for us to discuss, is there?
Yeah, not really. Not until we get out.
Oh my god, I've just had a stupid idea.
Go on.
What?
Do I reckon I can make an illusion of that guy's voice saying something really, really embarrassing?
I mean, that relies on the assumption that people know who he is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a voice saying something. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
in the long run.
Well, we'll keep
wish I
it in
could do
mind
more.
for the future.
Anyway. So yeah, I don't think we're at a point where we can really come up with more of a concrete plan. Because no information.
Yeah.
Although I suppose the only other thing is launching that sort of thing from the mountains south of the river would be really, really awkward unless they had some sort of base further forward. I would have assumed, or they would have had to know about the pilgrimage well in advance.
They probably did.
I mean, if it's something that people are aware of, like it's a tradition, it's not hard to imagine that somebody knew that this was going to happen.
It's not exactly a closely guarded secret. Consider that.
Though that does still bring up the concern that there is somebody else behind all of this besides just regular raids.
I don't know. It's clearly not coincidence.
Well, the thing what concerns me the most is, like, even if a goblin or whatever, like, ambushes someone, who takes the time to remove, like, the crown and that kind of stuff? Yeah,
especially if they've been deliberate. It's
like
it's
it feels like they were pulled. Like, how will it make sense? Like just pulled out of their clothes, maybe? Like, somehow? Well, I guess the clothes were gone, but...
No, I mean, if somebody knows the way that... If somebody is aware of the way that a person can be tracked via magic, it's not hard to imagine that you would come to the conclusion of removing any items that, like, personally identify them or are very specific to a person.
That is also true.
Yeah. Regardless, I don't think we can theory craft really much else.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We kind of just have to go there and poke around.
Yeah, I feel like once we get there and I'm able to sort of my thing.
Yeah, we'll figure out more, I guess.
Because I can do, like, Fallout's fails. I can talk to the plant.
I guess what we could... There's one thing that we else could do. Is there... Like, we could ask some locals if there's been more people going missing along the route, or if this is a very specifically just them.
Didn't they say that it was fairly common for there to be goblin attacks around?
The Magus had said it had happened previously. He did not say it was common.
So it's happened.
It
So
has happened.
I assume people know about it. Happened.
I was thinking, because if it, like, is repeatedly happening, then, like, at least we have... And there's probably, like, some base of operations, like, closer by that will... Well, you know,
There's
one
that
leads
town,
to the
I
other.
guess. There's that town that we have to go through.
Right.
Yes, but that's not the base of operations the goblins and stuff are gonna have.
Oh no.
No, but they might have more information about stuff that's happening in the immediate area.
Yeah.
They would be the ones to ask about the abductions, yes.
They might even have their own woodsman or something. There's some crazy hermit.
Some crazy hermit out there.
I like that that's what you went to first.
It's fine.
Okay.
Well, I think I could think of something that I might like to do over the long rest that might be useful, given what's coming up.
What?
There's a spell that might help that I can put into my spell book now that we've received 40 gold.
Oh,
But it also takes a ton of time, doesn't it?
2 hours.
Yes. Because it's only a second level spell, it doesn't take that long.
Actually, it's a first level spell.
Oh, whatever.
what spell is it?
Detect magic.
Oh, I thought.
I think it's a good idea to put detect magic into the spell book. So that'll cost me 50 gold, and it'll take 2 hours. Take 2 hours to do.
You know what? I feel like that would definitely be worth it, considering.
Considering what we're about to go into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're
Because
gonna
like
have
over.
that-
Cause
I do the scroll of locate object, but that'd be more expensive, and also we don't have any objects to go on.
Yeah, and I can cover that if it comes to.
Yeah, exactly. So, scroll of detect magic. I'd like to spend some of my long rest copying that into the book.
Sure, you can do that.
Cool. I'll deduct 50 gold.
Are you guys turning in for the night?
I guess
Probably
that's-
smart.
Yeah, so if you want to pay for your meal, so it'll be like a silver for food and drink. Each.
Sure, I'll just pay for all of us.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, that is not silver. That's platinum.
Yeah.
Do not give them platinum.
That's,
that would be bad.
Yeah,
actually, that reminds me. I have a ton of platinum.
you should probably convert that.
Yeah.
How much platinum do you have?
Well, I have 28, and then we have like the loot that we didn't actually convert yet, which is we have an additional 90 in the bag that we haven't added to the gold yet.
Damn. That's fucking nearly 1,000 gold.
Yeah, that's
That is quite literally 1,000 gold, or more than 1,000 gold.
God.
But if I give 10 plat to the bag, we can deduct 1,000 from our debt.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, that's a
that's a
lot.
lot of money off our debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is something that would.
That's only
probably
3,000.
would have done.
That's only 3,000 left.
Yeah, and if we get this thing, it's only 1,000. Bam, we're in the money.
Progress.
Progress!
Not even. It's just 500 gold in the end. Oh,
Yeah,
and then we
'cause-
failed to pay back the final gold, and our keep gets seized. It's like, yep, that's unfortunate. No.
Oh no.
Nah, we'll
Like,
make it.
well, you paid off 99% of your debt, but fuck.
But-
Yeah.
But fuck
Yeah.
you.
Tom Nook shows up at the front of the keep, like it's time to pay up.
Oh no! Not Tom Nook.
Actually,
Crooked
Tom Nook is
bastard.
pretty good about that.
Yeah.
He kind
To
of
be fair, if there's an Animal Crossing character where I'd really hate it a lot more if they showed up at the front of the keep.
Mr. Rossetti.
Yep.
Everybody knew that.
Just
Yes,
fuck off! I
definitely,
ran out of
every-
power. It's not my fault. I ran out of power before I could run back to the house. Fuck you.
Anyway.
Yeah.
With that segue completed. Yes, you can copy Detect Magic into your spellbook.
Cool.
And take a long rest.
Do we want to still have, with the potential ability to create food and water depending on how many spell slots are used? Or do we want to just rely straight on rations for this bit?
Arya does have the ability to find food and water as well.
Also true.
It
Yeah.
might not hurt to have like some rations in case of not finding additional food.
Well, it was more, if not, I'm going to not have that prepped for a bit. At least for this next short. Or bit
If
that
I can
we're going
find
to.
food and water, that's fine. You can just...
Okay. And we'll just have rations as back.
Yeah.
I'm just rejigging my spell list real quick.
Well, yeah, you go ahead and take a long rest and all of the perks that come with that.
Cool.
And,
I'm gonna rearrange my spells.
The next morning will bring you bright and early. So, quick out of game question. I have a little bit more stuff, but I'm aware that it's quarter past 11.
Oh jeez, yeah.
Do we want to go for take a short break and then go for maybe 30 minutes more?
Can do. It's up to you guys. You guys are... It's later there.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
fine,
yeah,
anything's
that's fine by me.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't have
I'm
anything
good
to
with
do
anything.
until 8 o'clock tonight, so...
Oh,
That's
Alright.
at 8 o'clock. Oh.
Game of...
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I'm
Way to timestamp the
I'll
episode.
be alright.
Anyway,
Whatever. We already timestamped it like 8 times.
Anyway.
True.